All right, here goes nothing. All right, guys, how's it going? It's me again tonight. I have a new toy I'm playing around with. It's a clip-in mic. Shouts out to my boy Kyle. Kyle, you know who you are. Thanks for the clip-in mic, bro. This is actually a pretty clutch toy to have. I don't even know what to call it. This is a pretty clutch thing to have. All right. So, on today's agenda, we have 3 topics I want to talk about. And tonight is actually the first night I'm being organized, and I've already beforehand pre-written my thoughts. I've given some time to think about it. So hopefully this is a more organized episode. Without further ado, first topic. It's about dreams. Now, I may have touched on this topic before, but the aspect of dreams that I want to talk about today is about dreaming of recent things that you've been doing a lot. That's a near, or what would the term be? Short-term memory? For example, as of recently, I've been playing a lot of this one video game called Star Wars Squadrons. For those who know about that game, you know what it's about. Those who don't, basically it's a first-person Star Wars starfighter game. You have to manage shit like diverting power to speed or to your cannons, and there's advanced, flight maneuvers like drifting and balancing your resources, which are like the ability to heal yourself, your missiles, your countermeasures. It's pretty cool stuff, and I have a soft spot for starfighting game / any kind of game that has to do with pilot skills. But going back to the original point, I've been playing a lot of that, and as an effect of that, my dreams that I've had recently, a good number of them have been influenced by Star Wars Squadrons. And what I mean by that is, I'll use a dream I can remember for an example, and this happened a couple days ago. I dreamt that I was a TIE pilot in the Imperial Navy, and I was just flying around patrolling. But everything in my dream made it feel so real. The sounds that the TIE ship itself makes when you turn, that distinctive wail that happens when you start firing the laser cannons, it all felt very real and tangible in the dream. And what I'm trying to get at with this is, for dreams, and this might be like a pretty obvious thing for you guys, but dreaming of recent things that you've been doing a lot, that affects your dreams. And in of itself, it affects the context and the meaning of the dream. Now, traditionally, you could say, oh, if I dreamt of, and I'm throwing out examples here, I dreamt of falling, what does that mean? Some may say, or come in agreement that falling in dreams is a sign of, I don't know, unfinished business or whatever. Kind of like that old wives' tale that, well, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale, but it's this superstition or thing where if you sneeze, it's because someone was talking about you. It might just be a cultural thing, but that's something I've heard a lot. And that, like I said, it gives context to your dreams. So to go off on another tangent within the field of dreams, or within the subject of dreams, if you dream about someone that you've been thinking about a lot, say in a romantic way or even in a platonic way, they're affecting your dreams, and you can see that if you're wise enough. I hate to sound cocky, but if you're wise enough to realize that and infer some kind of message, like, why am I thinking about, or why am I dreaming about this person? It could get even weirder if it's a person you haven't talked to for a while, yet your brain decides to dream about them for whatever reason. The brain is a very weird thing. For example, not too long ago, I started dreaming of one of my old exes. Matter of fact, the only old ex that I personally still care about and keep in touch with consistently like that. And I was wondering to myself, I'm like, why is this? Why am I dreaming about my ex again when I've had no cause to start thinking about her like that again? And for myself, I came to the conclusion that perhaps me dreaming about her is my brain's way of saying unconsciously, we've had her on our minds for a while now. That's how I rationalize it. You may rationalize dreaming of someone differently, depending on who they are to you, the relationship you have to them. That may give your dream a different meaning. I could dream of my ex and I having a fight, even though we have not fought for a long time, but I could dream that, and the context around that, the meaning around that could be that, man, maybe I resent her, maybe that's why I'm dreaming that we're fighting. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas out here for the abstract thing that are called dreams. But that's my personal 2 cents on that. The next topic that I want to get to is regrets. The topic of regret. Now, I believe I've covered this topic before in previous videos, or I may have just talked about it on a tangent, but never, I don't think, on as a standalone topic itself. Regardless, there are things that I regret still to this day. Do I wish that I could have changed it? 100%. The things that I regret doing, the events that I regret that happened, I wish I could change them. But there in itself lies the, what's it called? Catch-22, the problem. If you change things about yourself that you regret, then you're no longer that person that you are now. For example, if I could change, say, a really nasty fight that I and one of my more recent exes had, maybe the relationship could have lasted a little bit longer. Yeah, I regret that. But I am where I am now because of all the decisions that I've made up to this point, good and bad. And I've fucked up a lot, especially during these final moments of 2020. I fucked up on certain things that I wish I could honestly have a do-over for, but you gotta bite the bullet. This real life is not like video games where you can pause and reload a save, and now that you know the consequences of your actions, you can choose something else. No, it's all in every step of the way. There are no do-overs. And regarding regret, personally, I have a desire, or I guess you could say I don't want to call it an obsession, but sort of like an OCD thing where I wonder how far things could have been different based off one change in my decision alone. If things could have gone differently? Not necessarily more favorably for me, just in a different way. How different would I be because of the change of events that I want to occur? I've come to find out that, one simple change in, say, anything you can regret, I've rationalized can have a domino type of effect and sort of cascade out of control, in the sense that, you change one thing, say arbitrarily not that long ago, a month ago. A whole lot can happen in one fucking month, and a whole lot, say, can change about you at a key moment in time, say that specific moment in time that you picked a month ago to change. Like, a month ago, for example, I ran this red. If let's say I ran this red and the cop got me on the corner and now I'm fighting a ticket. I'm not, but let's just say. Well, let's say I changed that. Let's say I didn't decide to run the red and the cop didn't give me my ticket and I didn't have to go to the ticket clinic to fight it or whatever, And so I saved that money that I used to fight it at the ticket clinic to use it for something else, and so on and so forth. Do you see just how within the first day alone, how big of a change that is? I saved money by not going to the ticket clinic, by not running the red, so the cop never had that discussion with me, so the rest of my day played out so differently, let alone the rest of my week and month. You see what I'm saying? I have learned through thinking about all these things and really in my darkest times beat myself up like, damn, I really wish I could have changed this. I really wish I wasn't stupid and said XYZ. I really wish I could have done this and that, It's something that you beat yourself over when you have these kinds of thoughts, when you're in a very dark place in your life, and you wish you could have as many do-overs as you want as possible. But the reality of it is that every moment in our life is a learning lesson. Every moment in our life is a learning lesson, and it's up to you to make the most out of the lessons that life is making you learn. Now, whether or not you do anything with the lessons, that's up to you. Life will give it to you, give you those lessons whether you like it or not. Whether you make lemonade out of those lessons is up to you. That's what I'm trying to say. I've learned things along the way. Every moment is a learning lesson, like I said. Sometimes it sucks, but there's a lesson in everything that we experience. In everything. So, next topic. The final topic is a very contentious topic. One I'm sure we all have thought about, talked about, and dealt with at some point in our lives. It's love. And regarding love, specifically I want to talk about how in love, sometimes we're dishonest with ourselves. We're not truthful to ourselves when we're pursuing what we think to be our ideal love. Guys, girls, we've all chased after our ideal better half. In our heads, we have this checklist, this criteria list. She's got to be shorter than me. He's got to be taller than me. She can't be overweight. He can't be a skinny fuck. He's got to know 2 languages. She's got to know how to cook. Yada, yada, yada. And some of us, more than others, really try to force fate to make things go our way. And when I say that, I mean and I don't mean this in a bad way, but say, man, it's been years since I've dated someone, but I'm just being truthful to myself. I'm not lowering my standards. I'm waiting on Mrs. Right to show up in my life, type of thing. I'm not saying that if you're that type of person who does that's wrong, but I'm saying that I know I personally know people who have gone years following that mentality, still waiting on their better half to, and I say this in air quotes, show up, and yet they wait, and they wait, and they wait. Some of them put in more effort than others to find their better half. Others are more content with just, bluntly sitting on their ass and waiting for it to come to them. And like I said, I don't judge. Everyone's got their reasons for doing what they do. So who am I to judge if people want to sit on their ass looking for love? You may be burned and say, fuck it, I'm tired. But personally, I believe sometimes we're dishonest with ourselves when we're trying to pursue that ideal love we have in our heads, or when we really try to force fate to make it that way. Like, come on, give me the one I'm looking for. Along the way, on this path that we all take looking for our better half, the people we meet romantically can get burned while you're chasing your goal, while we're chasing our goal. And what I mean by that is, they can get burned intentionally or unintentionally, depending on the type of person you are and what you're looking for. And what I mean by that is, I'll use myself as an example. After I had broken up with that ex that I talked about previously, the only one that I really care about, even still to this day, after her and I broke up initially, I was in a very dark spot in my life where I didn't know what to do. And I tried my best to fill the hole that she left in my heart. And for myself, looking back now, I realized that I burned people along the way, and every single female that I've dated since then, I've known in my heart that relationship with them wasn't gonna last. And that sounds exactly what it sounds like. I knowingly, in every single one of these cases, I knowingly got in the relationship knowing that these females that I was courting and dating and flirting with, I had no future with them. I knew it in my heart that I had no future with them. And yet still I pursued, in air quotes, pursued them so I could fulfill my selfish desire of wanting human company, a female human company with me. And they all got burned. I'd say pretty intentionally by my own accord. I regret that. Looking back now, I regret that. Because honestly, I saw them as stepping stones. I still do see them as stepping stones. Stepping stones to where I was trying to get. Trying to look for my better half. But none of them were the end goal, if you know what I'm saying. None of them were the ones I was going to settle down with, or I'm like, you know what, she's pretty close enough to being the type of person I like, so I'll settle down with her type of deal, or I'll pick her. No. And this all ties into perspective, She might view that, or she might think that you are the one for her. And this is where I really feel bad for females. She might think you're the one for her, but like I said before, you know in your heart that she isn't. And yet, in my case, I continued the relationship up until the point where it reached its breaking point, which each one was its own thing. And I won't go into that because I've rambled long enough. And that's really much all I had to say about love, honestly, that little tidbit. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a pretty nice episode, and I managed to get it to close to 20 minutes because I was organized. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'll be seeing you in the next one.